Hello everybody, welcome back to 6th episode of our step-by-step story of a cake order. So far so good, as you may remember from the previous episodes, our imaginative example Romeo and Juliet cake is now delivered and then on that location, so we are back to our office. So we start with the next order. Before we do that, we have to take some notes, and while we have a fresh information in our mind about this particular cake. Actually, that kind of immediate actions should be taken for any this reasonable size of a cake. So let's talk about these important issues, not necessarily in a particular order, and this time let's make it short and clear for the final episode. It is all about matter of principles. So you may choose to accumulate paperwork for certain time limits, and after that you do everything in once, maybe once in a month or something like this. Every time an order is finished, if you just write down a kind of like a systematically that this has to be done right away. So that is important because when you do that right away, you will not struggle to remember something. So, for example, like the order form came, and then after that it has to be filed in the right place, and also like it has to be recorded in your accounting system. I don't know what you're using, but it's always good that too many numbers or too many papers accumulate. It will be more difficult to deal with them when the time comes. So if you do it small amount of work but constantly and repeatedly, that will make it easy everything, and then you will have at the end very organized office, and then everything not sort of pile up papers around. You will look good for the customers. Maybe you having the same kind of conversation with the customer on your consultation place, that the papers are disappeared, everything is like in file, everything. So, and imagine that you have a certain amount of like paperwork, and then you file them all the time. So at the beginning of your work, I'm sure it's not going to be possible to know exactly how to file the things, how to categorize things. But throughout the time, if you make constantly right decisions, you increase the number of files, number of categories, and everything will be right in order. All right. Now, the sales material, what you will have is a kind of assets of your marketing. It actually comes from all your previous experience, that all the cakes that you do, taking photos and then taking records and then statistics and everything, that will be quite useful for the rest of the work that you do in future. So sorting out the picture in the right categories, it's a good idea, because in that era, like information era, we have cameras that can take thousands of pictures every day, and then when this get this in numbers, it will be more difficult to find when the time comes to you looking for. So that's why, as I did throughout the years, so we categorize all our cakes. Like wedding cakes comes in 10 different categories, and birthday cakes and events like special event cakes will become about 20 different categories. So every time the cake order is finalized and photos are taken, right away it goes into the computer, and it goes in the right order, maybe just eliminating, deleting some of the like bad pictures, and then keep them only just the right one. Because if you just dump them all in the same place with all the sort of like repetitive pictures and everything, it will not possible to come back after a year to worry about everything one by one, and then it will not going to be like you will not going to get the mood into that mood to do it. So it will be like accumulative. Also, you're using a lot of data in your computer system. So eliminate, throw away the things which you don't need it, and file them in the right place, in the right categories. That is important. Updating website gallery. So of course, I can imagine that you have a business, you have just activities without a website. So it has to be also, as long as that you file them in your computer, also has to go on the website right away, not sort of like once in a 6 month. It has to be playable once in a week. You do that also, accommodates your thing. So we have two kind of budget. We have a value budget, like you have this financial abilities that you have with the budget, but you have also certain amount of time that you have to also budget it. So you have to know in that time budget, you do things in daily, you do things as weekly, you do things in monthly, so everything is nice in order. Building internal and public catalogs, which I already mentioned about that. So, and also future approach and database material. So storing contact information is very important. So while you have a fresh mind, you take your all your information about that particular customer, and then even though that when you're talking with any reason, but because you have them already a couple of times, they visit you, and then you will have a sort of conversation. You probably ask them like maybe some personal questions, if it's allowed to do that, or if you feel like doing that, like what's your birthday and everything. So if you take any kind of information, you write down the wife, for example, birthday or whatsoever. So. And then it will be very important, those informations, for retargeting customers from the reminding calendars. So today we're working with calendars that give you so much possibilities to organize your business very, very freely. Sometimes we just miss that opportunity because we don't look at properly. You just look into your basic Google Calendar, for example. I started using Google Calendar for a couple of years ago, actually maybe about 5-6 years ago. Today, I can't do it without them. So make sure that you make use of technical data and to store your information to retargeting people. All right. So that's very important. And let's talk about now is get in touch with people again. Getting in touch with the people again as a business is a part of the game. But having said that, after so much of work, so much of organization, wedding is over, and then you have just put yourself into their shoes, and you have such a relaxation because it's all over now, the life goes on. But before we jump on anything else, as they are going through such an event, they like to get relaxed for a while. So we have to respect that. Either they are gone into the sort of like beautiful honeymoon time for a couple of weeks, or they just want to be not disturbed for a while. So after sometimes, I would say about, let's say, 2 to 3 weeks, all right? So you can just send them an email. So you have some sort of templates in your computer to send different responses, different contacts to the people without writing every time the same thing. That is very, very important. So templates you can find on the internet, you can also write yourself, but it should never be sound like, look like, reading like it is a template and I'm just one of the number, I'm getting that one. So it will make it very sort of like upsetting people. So that means, as I said, you don't have to write a letter as a kind of template, but you can choose the part of the template and add some personalized things into that letter to make it personal. For example, as we spoken like that, and as we did something like that for you, and like you just touch and go for this kind of things that which belongs to only you and them. All right. Then this letter will be thanking for their business, at the same time congratulating them for this wonderful event. All right. And then after that, sort of like a not too long email, you may also ask them kindly if they have any review, any kind of idea, opinion, or like a sort of experience with your service. You don't mind to have them in writing. So you can ask for a review, and asking some, maybe this is a bit daring, but it depends of your relation with your customers. You can also ask them some pictures there are with the wedding cake, and it will be nice to also gather and sort of like accumulate in your files. All right. It may be also a good idea when you're asking them also to ask them the permission that you may use in your publications. Offering discount for the next order or kind of like next birthday cake or whatsoever. That's also good idea to offer them. So there's a lot of things that you may add to that your list, what you have to do after the event is finished. And then depends of course, all your activities, and then depends of your style of working it. So I just wanna tell you what I did in the past for, again, so thousands of cakes, and then it was always useful and like always sort of like in a sense of successful, and otherwise I wouldn't say thousands of cakes. So that's why I like to share with you all those opinions and ideas. It is all done. As I said, this is a very short video without any kind of forms and paperwork, everything. So that was the last episode of step-by-step story of a cake order. Happened to be that particular Romeo and Juliet cake. I chose this idea because of its complexity to cover a wide range of issues that I can share with you. But basically, I talk about all the subjects in general based on our true experience. Our experience was dealing with the multiple orders in a single week. But having said that, you may not have that kind of situation. I hope you still get some principal ideas, even that if you deal with the one single order or one single cake at a time. Now, if you ask me, what is my next thing to do? I tell you, it will be something very special. Obviously, what we have spoken in the whole journey, all the story, was all for manual operations with using very minimum technology. So we just look at some Excel forms, some documents that which is manually can be done, and some tags that you can just copy and use again and again. So next I am going to back to second and third episode, which was the designing and pricing the cake. So I will do that again, design and price the same cake with our very own magnificent software, CakeNote. So that will be my 7th additional episode and will be an option for you to watch. I hope that you also watch that with the same enthusiasm. Thank you so much for watching me and then listening this romantic story. God bless you all. Until to my next. Bye for now.